Hey friends, this is our last evening encouragement video for this session. It's been wonderful spending the last 4 weeks with you. Thanks for letting me invade your space on your phone or device or whatever way you let me into your home. I don't take it for granted. It's an awesome privilege to be able to gather around the Word of God with you. We'll start it up again at some point in a number of weeks, and if you want to stay in touch with me in the meantime, you can sign up to be part of my personal email list. There should be a link somewhere around something on your tablet right now, and if there's not, just reach out to us and we'll let you know how to do that. But for today, I want to end in Deuteronomy chapter 26. In Deuteronomy 26, God is talking to the Israelites. They're not yet in the promised land, but he wants them to know when you get into the promised land, and so he assures them it's coming. You are going to get into the promised land. When you get into the promised land, and when you have new crops and your new property and your new place in the promised land, he said, I want you to take the first part of your crops, the first fruits, and bring it to the priest at the temple and say, I am offering this to the Lord as my first fruit offering to the Lord. And then everybody was supposed to say something very specific. And I'm going to read it to you. So it's a little bit lengthy, but this is what they were supposed to say. I don't know if they were supposed to recite it or if they were going to have it written down, but they were supposed to say, my father was a wandering Aramean. And he went down into Egypt with a few people and lived there and became a great nation, powerful and numerous. But the Egyptians mistreated us and made us suffer, putting us to hard labor. Then we cried out to the Lord, the God of our fathers, and the Lord heard our voice and saw our misery, toil, and oppression. So the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, with great terror and with miraculous signs and wonders. He brought us to this place and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And now I bring the first fruits of the soil that you, O Lord, have given to me. And then they were supposed to place the basket in front of them, and then they were supposed to leave. But they were supposed to recite that whole thing. And I wonder if one of the reasons why was because he wanted them to remember that God led them through everything. Like, there was a lot of hard stuff in their history. A lot of times when they probably wondered if God was even paying attention. A lot of times when they acted like God wasn't even real because they gave up on him. And God didn't fail to get them to the promised land. In a similar way, you're going to be able to say the same thing. There's going to be a day when you're going to be able to look back and you're going to be able to say, God did it. Look at everything that God got us through. Man, there were some hard times. There were some times when you wondered that if God was even paying attention. Some challenges that were so challenging that you maybe even convinced yourself that he wasn't there. Everybody has those. Even Jesus did. As he hung on a cross and he cried out to his Father in heaven and he said, why? Why are you acting like I'm not even here? But even though he asked the question, he knew the answer. It's because our Father in heaven was keeping a promise to do everything necessary so that you could know that God is really always paying attention. And God is using all of his very best resources to love you, to bring you into his family, to hold on to you and to never let you go. So that you can know, wherever you are in life, whatever's going on, that one day God's going to bring you home. Not to a home your eyes have ever seen, but to the one that your heart cries out for every day. The one where you'll be able to look back and say, God did it. He did just what he said he would. And he did it for me. He did it for you. When you find yourself in that promised land. I don't know if God's going to have you recite anything about your father being a wandering Aramean or anything like that, but at that moment you will be able to look back. And then you'll be able to look at God. and say thank you. Thank you for doing exactly what you said you would. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for giving me a reason to always keep going. That day is coming. Rest well tonight, my friends.